Dog's really excited. Don't be too excited about this haul, pup pup. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm DIY Danie, your friendly neighborhood DIY. Today I decided I would do a video that's kind of different, and I always see these Amazon hauls out there on the YouTubes, and the one thing that I started to notice was that there are not a lot of Amazon hauls that dive into the DIY space. There's a lot of home decor finds, cool kitchen gadgets, bathroom finds, bedroom finds, but nobody has ever done a haul that dives into DIY items. Functional tools that you can use to either craft or DIY something fun or build something. So I decided I'm gonna make one. Now, this is probably the most unsexy Amazon haul we've ever seen, because it's not like I'm like, look at this cool decor item, but it is the most functional. This haul in particular is leaning a little bit more on the arts and crafts side versus kind of like the builder side. So let me know if you ever want to see kind of a DIY Amazon haul on that bucket. All of the items that I talk about in this video, I did my very best to kind of try to keep it under $30. That's in American and Canadian dollars. And if you're not in the US or Canada, I'm so sorry. But these are the two Amazons that I do have access to, so hopefully these items will translate onto your Amazon where you are. Without further ado, let's jump into this Amazon haul. I don't know, thought this would be kind of fun. Ooh, ooh. So let's talk about art books and sketchbooks, because they're all kind of do different things. So the first book that I'm talking about is the Artist Loft Hardbound Sketchbook. This sketchbook comes in two sizes. There's a large and a small. I use both, and it's kind of fun because they come in fun colors. I use these books religiously and I absolutely love them. It's actually fallen apart, I used it so much. These kind of books are really good for like all kinds of dry media, including pencil, pen, pastels, charcoal, artistic drawings, writing, sketching, doodling, calligraphy. This is the book I do all of my sketches in. There's Kenobi. All of my original ideas always start in these books, but they're not really great for watercolors or paintings. Each book comes with 110 sheets. It's a 75-pound paper. I mean, if you're a paper nerd like me, then you'll know. You'll know. It's thick, it can take a lot of erasing and redoodling. It's bright paper, acid-free. It's just a really great artist's everyday book. The next type of book I wanted to talk about was the CANSON's mixed media books. I'm not like an avid stick to one medium kind of gal. I'm always flopping between like acrylic painting, watercolor painting, sketching, markers, whatever. Mixed media books are the best versatile book for everything. It's just a really good multimedia paper pad. I love because you can rip the papers out so that when you're done with it, you can frame it, do whatever you want. These mixed media books come with a 98-pound paper, so it's quite thick, but not enough that like it's sturdy like cardboard. There's still some good give to it. I've watercolored with these books, I've acrylic painted with these books, I've sketched with these books, I've done charcoal pencil, just regular pencil. It's really versatile. I don't generally believe in buying one book to do one thing. They come in really big pads like this, or they come in smaller books, and then there is actually a smaller version of this. I always recommend to people to go with a mixed media if you're kind of like a all things creator and you like to kind of dabble with a bunch of different type of mediums. It's just the best bang for your buck. Recently, I had bought these watercolor pens, and I gotta admit, I was a bit apprehensive about buying them because I wasn't really sure how I felt about these pens. You basically fill it with water, and then it has like a brush at the end. I was very apprehensive about these. I was like, this doesn't work, just use a regular brush. But I saw a sale and I bit the bullet and I just bought some. And I have to say, I really like them. It doesn't really matter what brand you get, but this one is the Magicfly watercolor brush pens. I like the kit because it comes with 6 different pens. You get 3 flat brush tips and then 3 rounded point water brush tips. These are made out of a durable nylon brush. It's very sensitive and very delicate, but easy to control. When you want to add a little bit of water, you basically just push the pen and the water will push down. It's really easy to use and control the water flow. So unless you're squeezing it really tightly, the water won't flow out. So you do get good control when you're painting. And also it's really great if you're on the go or you're going somewhere to do watercolors. These kind of pens have boded really well in that case. It is very easy to clean, but I will say the downside to this, because they have nylon tips, it just seems to really take the pigment of the first color that you ever use with it. This color doesn't translate over when I reuse it, but kind of thought that was silly. I just always think it's cool to try new things, and I tried something new and really liked it, so it paid off. So yay, this is a cool win. So the last watercolor thing I wanted to talk about was this watercolor palette. I feel like one of those like beauty influencers. I love this palette so much. I do get really good coverage. Not at all. I actually just recently used this, so you'll have to excuse the mess on it. I probably should have cleaned this before I started talking about it, but oh well. So I guess what they call this is the Fusion 18. It's a leak-proof, airtight paint palette made for watercolors. It has 18 wells for all of your colors. It has a clear tray that's removable. The cool thing is, because it's see-through, you really get a good indication of the colors that you are creating or mixing, so it's true to what you're creating. It's very easy to clean. It's well made, it's made of tin. The inside is plastic, but I mean, I don't know what you're doing with your watercolors that you wouldn't be okay with that. And because of the airtight quality, it keeps your colors fresh for weeks. So if there is water in there, it is not going to leak if you watercolor in the park and then you want to take it home. Because it is airtight, you can actually use it for oil paints as well, and it's not going to dry out. I mean, you can also use this for acrylics if you want. It doesn't really matter. Use it for whatever you want. It's your palette. I'm sure there's tons of palettes out there that are easy to use and do the same thing as this. So it's just really about preference and finding one that you like. But this is a really great palette. I've had a lot of great use out of it so far, and really liking it. Yay, watercolors! The next item I'm talking about, and it seems really ridiculous, but I've used this so many times that I have to talk about it. It felt wrong not to talk about it, and it's this jumbo tape dispenser. She ain't beautiful, but she's damn functional. I love it because I use painter's tape and masking tape for a lot of projects. I actually use painter's tape when I'm not even painting. I just like the tape. So having a dispenser that actually holds it like a regular tape dispenser was bomb. I don't know if you're like me, but I get really annoyed when like every time you want a piece of tape, you have to like peel it back off the roll, and it's just like super annoying. This was my answer, and I absolutely love it. Oh, I need tape. Oh, bam. There, I'm gonna keep that, I don't wanna waste that. It's like 15 bucks in Canada. I think it's $12 in the US price. So it's super affordable. It's got a anti-skid base on the bottom. It's got lateral grooves, so there's no slack, and it comes in 2 sizes of tape support, a 1-inch and a 3-inch. And because of the pad on the bottom, it's a one-hand operation. You can just like grab it, pull it, and it works. If you're like me and you like using masking tape or painter's tape for multiple projects, this is the item for you. You're welcome. Here's something I really love, little painter's pyramids. Look at how fun this is. This is not a game. These little guys changed my life. If you are an artist or you like to paint pour, or you're staining a board and you want to elevate the project up off of your work surface, these are brilliant. Whoever invented this is like so smart. It seems so silly, but they are so versatile. Basically, these are non-stick pyramids that elevate your project off the work surface with minimal contact. You can use this for wood projects, paint projects, stained glass projects, something that you glued up, anything and all things, and it creates less mess and just better results for your project as a whole. I can't tell you how many projects I've ruined because something was drying and then the work surface underneath ended up like curling into it, and then you're just like, that is when I invested in these, and I think they're great. I also like that you can secure them to a worktop if you need to so that they don't move. They nicely store away because you can obviously stack them, and they can support a weight up to 200 pounds. You will find a use for these if you own them. I wanted to dive a little bit into pens, and specifically drawing pens or sketching pens, because they are very expensive if you like to be like snobby about brands. In the past, I have invested in these Pigma graphic pens, and I love them. I think they're absolutely great, but this came in like a pack of 3, and they were pretty expensive. But recently, I came across these on Amazon, and I can't get enough of them. This came in a set of 9 for $15 Canadian, so it's even less in America. This was the Kizoto Black Micro Pen. They're Fineliner ink pens. They came in multiple sizes, so there's 8 nib sizes. So there's a 0.05, a 0.1, a 0.2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, and then there's 1 brush tip, which I'm kind of obsessed with right now. I've never had a marker that has like such a nice little like water brush technique to it, so I very much enjoy it. They're acid-free ink. They're smear resistant, water resistant, fade resistant, and super smooth in most sketching. They're water-based, non-toxic. The pigment ink is smudge-proof, and there's no bleed. I haven't found any bleed yet, but I'm not like throwing water on my paper, so I don't know yet. I'll let you know. They're great for professional technical writing and drawing, but ultimately I thought in terms of the most bang for your buck, I really have enjoyed investing in these, and they work excellent. Sometimes the quantity maybe works best. While we are on the topic of markers and pens, you guys were asking some questions about my sketches and the drawings that I do in color. So I thought I would talk to you about the markers that I use. And I actually found out that you can get these on Amazon, so that's why I'm deciding to talk about them. But the thing with markers is that they come in lots of different kits and color sets, so I don't want to really speak specifically to color sets. I'm just going to talk about the brand and why I like them. This was like a brand called Hobby Color. They're like lighter, and I love them. They come with 2 tips. There's the wide tip and then the pointed tip on the other end. I like the versatility of the 2 tips depending on what you're doing, but I mostly always use the fine tip. The other markers that I had invested in, these are the Spectrum Noir. They are dual nib pens. They have the thick nib on one side and then the smaller nib on the other, which I really like. They do bleed a little bit, I find, depending on the paper type that you were using. It has more to do with the paper and less to do with the markers. I own these in many colors. I am one of those losers that love to like color things in. I find coloring therapeutic. So these markers have had some use. You know, they achieve effortless blending and color matching. They're 4 grams of refillable ink per pen. I personally really like the shape. These ones in particular have like little grippy pads on each side, so they don't slip in your hand. They're very comfortable, I guess, if we're talking ergonomics. Never really thought about it, but I guess looking at it, it is quite ergonomical. The way that it fits in your hand feels really good. This brand in particular has worked really well for me, but I do know that there are a lot of different brands out there with this dual nib tip marker, and there are a lot more affordable ones out there. I can't speak to the quality of different brands, but I know that a lot of markers do work the same, so I will link these markers in the description box, but I might also link an alternative cheaper version that might be great to invest in, so that you have options. Go and shop around. The next item I want to talk about is this paint and marker and everything brush holder. What do they call it? This is the 96 hole plastic pencil and brush holder. I've had this for years, and I know that this has been circulating around the internet for a long time, but anyways, I'm gonna talk about it. This is a 96 hole art studio organization holder. It's really great for pencils and pens, markers, paintbrushes, crafty stuff. I just love how many things it can hold. In my art space, I use this all the time, and I just find it so handy when I'm working on different projects. It's like the simplest tool, and it does so much. What I love about it, it collapses very easy, so you know, it comes in pieces. It's durable. It's a hard, oops. I say that it falls apart. If you get it dirty, it's really easy to clean because it's plastic. It's dishwasher safe. It's a very practical design. It's very easy to assemble. It just keeps everything very organized on your work desk, and it's very affordable. So if you are looking for a really great item to organize all of your paintbrushes or markers and pens, this is a really great thing to invest in, and you'll have it for a really long time. The next item I wanted to talk about was this rotary cutter. This is probably one of the most versatile tools across multiple different DIY projects that I have used to date. Usually this device is used to kind of cut like thicker materials like leather or fabrics, but I've actually found it very useful to cut multiple things. I use it to cut paper. I've actually used it to cut cane webbing. It's really designed for precise cutting, and that's what I love about it the most. I like that your hand is away from the blade when you're cutting. It's just so friggin' versatile, and I love it so much. The one that I use is from a brand called Honeywell, but there are so many other ones. There's ergonomic ones out there. There's just so many brands I don't even know where to start. This one in particular is a 45mm rotary cutter, and it's great for straight lines. You can also buy blades that are good for curve cutting. You can also get dotted ones for dotted line cutting. I really like the safety button on it that can lock the blade in place. All the blades are very replaceable. Because the blades are very cheap and easy to replace, if I ruin a blade because I use something that would dull it faster, I don't really mind. If you're looking for a cool tool and scissors ain't your jam anymore, this device I thought was worth talking about. Like it a lot. Next to the rotary cutter, I wanted to talk about these self-healing mats. I gotta admit to you, I've only recently invested in this mat, had it for maybe 3 weeks now, and I am shook in terms of how long it took me to invest in this. They are a little pricey, especially for the big ones. I mean, I've been to the dollar store and they sell like little tiny pads, which I have used in the past, and they work. They totally work depending on what kind of crafts you're doing, but I'm always using the rotary cutter or X-Acto blade. I was ruining tables after tables after tables, so I invested in this and started using it, and it changed my life. Don't be stubborn like me. Invest in one because it's going to make your life easier. This one in particular, it's an 18 by 24. It's dual-sided. So it's got different patterns depending on which side you want to use, and it uses an imperial and metric grid line, but it's perfect for cutting, sewing, and different crafts. It's non-slip, so that's also a pro. This one in particular is made of 3 layers of self-healing PVC. It's 3mm thick art mat and can stay smooth and tough for a really long time. It's mixed with this like anti-penetration vinyl for added durability, which I love. In Canada, this one was $30. That's a damn good price. So this is just a really great tool to have. I find it very useful. If you are like me and you haven't done it, then invest, because this kind of surface is a game changer. Many tables will be saved thanks to this mat. Speaking of mats, I wanted to talk about investing in an anti-fatigue standing mat. Here is why this ugly but functional product is on my list. If you are like me, I do a lot of standing when I'm doing my DIY project. So I invested in a self-healing mat in my art room, and I find it helps a lot. I kind of want to buy another one and put one in the garage. This is an Amazon Basics version. It's a little bit more expensive. In Canada, I think it's like 50 bucks, but in the US it is 30. I like that it has a cushiony foam layer which conforms to the contours of my feet. It's stain resistant and it's very easy to clean. The edges don't curl, so you're not gonna like trip on it. It's got a non-slip base, so the mat stays in one place. And this one in particular is 36 by 20, so it's quite large depending on what kind of stance that you make. Heck, this thing could double as a yoga mat mat if you wanted it to. Maybe that is what I should do. What do you think? Comfortable? It's Kenobi approved. You should always listen to your body. You know, DIY can take a toll on you. If you're like me, it starts to affect my hips, it starts to affect my knees, and my feet start to fall asleep, and I just hate that. Save your feet, save your knees, save your hips, save yourself. Self-care, peeps. Getting into the more artsy, crafty side, the next item is a glue gun, and why I love this glue gun in particular is because it is completely wireless. If you are still stuck to a cord, it is time to upgrade your life. The versatility it provides you in your project is just immense. It keeps you mobile, means you don't need to like find a plug every time you want to use it. And it's so annoying when you're working around a cord trying to like glue something or get in an area and the cord's like running in the way. I love it so much, to the point where I used to have a yellow one. I left it at my mom's. My mom loved it so much, she's like, I'm keeping it. And I'm like, oh, so she ordered me this one. It's really great. It has a USB in the back for charging. Once it's fully charged, you get close to about 80 to 100 minutes of time. I don't know what you would be doing that you would need more than that with your glue gun, but I guess the one downside to it is that if it's not charged and it runs out, then you're kind of screwed, you know, but just be smart about it. It does come with this little stand, which is really great. The ergonomics of it makes it very easy to hold. It's a mini design, so it's quite portable. It's pretty lightweight, to be honest. Yeah, so I mean, there's not really a lot to say about a glue gun. I mean, a glue gun is a glue gun. I'm just saying, if you haven't invested in a wireless glue gun, then now is the time. This is a great glue gun to invest in. I've owned 2 versions of this now, not because one broke, but because now my mom has one, so totally worth it. The last item I'm going to talk about is the most expensive item that I wanted to talk about today. And by expensive, I mean really expensive. It's like $3.99 expensive. But based on the comments, I started to realize that a lot of you guys are like me and you kind of lean on music to help guide you in your creative experiences. So I thought it would be kind of fun to talk about the headphones that I use religiously. These are Bose headphones. I've owned 3 pairs of these now, and I would never go back. I don't always very specifically talk about one brand, but in terms of headphones, I've owned a whole bunch of different versions in my life, and these in particular have changed everything. Ergonomically, they feel really good. They never hurt my ears. Being an Amazon person, Alexa is actually built right into these headphones, which is kind of cool. So you can access your music, information, noise canceling. It's got a dual microphone system for clear sound and voice pickup. And it's got Bluetooth pairing, and it's very simple. I've never had an issue pairing my phone before, but if the Bluetooth does run out on it, it does come with a cord that you can plug in, and it's totally usable. I've mentioned this in my beginner's tool guide, but you should always be wearing earplugs when you're using power tools because they can be very loud and damaging to your ears. So these also act as a way to ensure that my ears aren't being damaged. They're great for when I'm working on the computer. They're great for when I'm crafting and doing art projects, but they're also great for when I'm DIYing out in the garage. They are cordless, so it keeps my hands free, no cords anywhere so they can get snagged. They're just a really great headphone. So if you're ever in the market to invest in something, nobody's paying me to say this, I've owned 3 pairs of these and I love them. They're a little bit more expensive, but you can buy them off of Amazon or, you know, an electronics store, wherever you feel more comfortable buying them, but I will link them in the description box if you want to learn a little bit more about them. So there we have it. Those are the Amazon products that I have invested in as a DIYer and that I have found extremely helpful. I hope any one of these products will help you or you found this fascinating. And let me know if you want to see me do more kind of videos like this. I can definitely kind of theme them. What do you guys want to see? What kind of cool items do you want me to talk about? Let me know in the comment section below because I love talking about cool items that I've found that I find intriguing or that work really well. I am totally an advocate for investing in things that are going to make your life easier. All of the items I talk about are listed in the description box. Take a look and I will see you guys next week. Bye-bye.